Well, hi there, and thank you again for tuning in to these Sunday hymn offerings of mine. And oh, better say a happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Actually, I've got a song that was a children's hymn back when it was written in the 1800s, and it's a Thanksgiving song. And I was thinking, even in a year like COVID 19's 2020 has been, uh, well, it's still important to do exactly what this song says. Here we go. When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged, thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will be singing as the days go by. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. So amid the conflict, whether great or small, do not be discouraged, God is over all. Count your many blessings, angels will attend, help and comfort give you to your journey's end. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings. Yeah, even in a year like 2020. Well, if you could even count them, eh? So many good things have come your way. I was thinking of Psalm 100, and it's actually called a psalm for giving grateful praise. It says, "Shout to the Lord, all the earth." Now, some of you might be familiar with the older King James version of the Bible, which says, "Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all the earth." I guess it could be argued that I was just making a joyful noise myself, come to think of it. But yeah, you can get a little loud about this kind of praise. It says, "Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him, and praise his name. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations." And, just a couple thoughts on Thanksgiving. And, well, first of all, I was thinking because, a lot of people watching right now, right? You're very talented. You're smart. You've done some very successful things in your life. But sometimes I think people can get to the place where they have decided that, who do I need to be thankful to? I've done all this with my own hands. I haven't needed anybody. Don't want to be that way. In fact, in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, just a little short passage there, But it says around verse 7, it says here, what makes you different from anyone else? What do you have that you did not receive? And for sure, some people gave you breaks along the way. But behind it all, God has been good to you. He really has. And there's a reason why we have to think about acknowledging God here on this Thanksgiving weekend. And it goes to a passage out of Romans chapter 1. Now, Romans chapter 1, the second part of that verse, or rather that chapter, it talks about a downward spiral that people take away from God. Now, I mentioned we sang that song, Count Your Many Blessings, and that it was a children's song. Well, children have no trouble believing in God, right? They look around and they see, wow, this is such a big world. Somebody big has to be behind it all. And in fact, as we get older and become more cynical, we begin to push God out of the way. We think we don't need him. Nobody's really born as an atheist, right? Scriptures tell us that God has placed eternity in people's hearts. I mean, you just know there's something out there that's bigger than this. But we tend to bury that as we get older. And in fact, Jesus said we need to become more like children, right? They don't have any trouble believing in God. And it's interesting, in Romans chapter 1, and I'll let you read that sometime, because it talks about a downward spiral, and it has some of the saddest words in the Bible. And the words are this: God gave them over. Ooh, wow. When God forsakes you, you know you're not in a good place. Now, I use that word forsake. I mean, it's not like he abandons us totally. But people have this idea that if I step out of line, ooh, God's ready. Do you remember that Far Side comic? God is ready to hit the smote button on his computer. Or some of you might know an old country song from, Tammy Wynette and George Jones, right? God's gonna get you for that. Is that how God operates? Surprisingly, no, it is not. In fact, what God does is that when we insist on going our own way, he says, well, okay, off you go. Good luck with that. And like the prodigal son, and in many times in my own life, when I've decided that I knew better than God and I've walked away, he's always been there to receive me back. Maybe someone just needed to hear that right now. But it says, and the reason I bring this up on a Thanksgiving weekend, is that in Romans chapter 1 and verse 21, it says, although they knew God, right? You know there's a God. You know there's a God. You can try and stuff him away or push him out of the side, off to a side, but you know there's a God. And although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him. The downward spiral away from God seems to start when we stop being thankful to him. Well, don't let that be you on this Thanksgiving weekend. Let me finish with just some really short little verses out of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, where it says, rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. Even in 2020, may you take that time this weekend, or any time really, to acknowledge God and give thanks. And hey, from my family to yours, a very blessed and happy Thanksgiving. God bless you.